Hey, I'm Kevin Good, and we're here today with production models of both the Canon 5D Mark III and the Nikon D800, and we're going to put them head to head. And even though I own this Nikon D800, we're going to make this test completely unbiased.
First up is the stills resolution test. A lot of people have made a big deal of the 36 megapixels of the Nikon over the 22 of the Canon. So what we did is we put the same 50mm prime lens on both. We shot at f8, locked down, did everything we could to match these pictures exactly. Now looking at them wide, they look very similar, but as we zoom in and really zoom in and start to pixel peep, we should get a chance to see if the Nikon is a little bit sharper than the Canon, and it is, but probably not nearly as much as people would expect.
So we are mostly concerned with the video performance on these cameras. So what we have is the Nikon and the Canon side by side, and to tell us about a little something called rolling shutter is photographer extraordinaire, John Pellet.
Thanks, Kevin. So in video mode, the cameras aren't actually using a physical shutter. The camera is actually reading the image digitally from top to bottom. That's fine for slower moving objects, but for faster moving objects, you might get a jello-like or skew. Notice how as the horizontal, as the vertical speed, horizontal speed, the vertical line.
Thanks for that, John. I'm actually really impressed at how both of these cameras handle the rolling shutter. This vomit-inducing shaky cam would have been unbearable on an older generation digital SLR. If we freeze frame it where we can see a horizontal and a vertical line together, we really get a clear comparison as to how they're both faring. I think the Nikon has a slight edge with less vertical skew and rolling shutter, but they're both pretty good. For the video resolution test, I've shot as identical a frame as I could muster. What I'm looking for is fine detail. Again, scaled out, they look fine, but if we zoom in and look at some fine details in the image, we can see where these video signals really fall apart. While the Canon looks softer on the left, I think just a little bit of sharpening, and it looks very similar to the Nikon. What does concern me with the Canon is a little bit of mosquito noise there from the codec. I wish I had another fine pattern or some high-frequency detail in here to get a better look. Oh, that works nicely. Now I want to bring in an extra image to show you just how bad these cameras actually are at resolving detail in video. The image on the right is a still photograph taken and then scaled down to 1080 resolution. In other words, the image on the right is what the other two images should be looking like. They don't look anywhere near it. They both look miserable compared to what they should look like. I wanted to do an ISO test with these cameras, so I went onto Craigslist and found a couple strippers for 20 bucks a pop. So the way this works is I deprive the sensor in the camera of light by stopping down either the shutter or the aperture, and for every stop I go, I make up for it with ISO. And for every stop I go, my $20 Craigslist strippers have to take off one piece of clothing. So you can see the ISO at the bottom. At the top, I have a test chart that I metered to be, incident metered to be exactly the right exposure. And the strippers that are a little bit of a ways back are incident metered to be exactly 2 stops down. And I also put a little resolution chart off to the side just to see if the cameras were getting away with lots of clean signals by just bowling over all the noise with noise reduction. And the Nikon seems to be losing out a little bit. Some of these higher ISOs actually simulated because the cameras don't go this high, so that's just, I put gain on in post just to see if because I wanted to, it's a lot of noise on the camera thing, and so I
we wanted to do a stress test on the cameras, so I found myself a child for 20 bucks on Craigslist. And now we're going to see how the Nikon D800 handles the rigors of child abuse. Sing it. Fucking cameras can't fucking do shit, 'cause my fucking camera can fucking shit some kicks some ass. camera still works. Now we're going to see how the Canon 5D Mark III fares and just how robust its titanium body is if it can hold a candle to Nikon. Okay, let's cut it. Oh, I love it. Okay, so as a final test, I have brewed the remaining pieces of the Canon 5D Mark III into my tea to determine if, despite their flimsy construction, they might be good for something. Well, that's all the time we have. But next time, we will be taking a look at other things like how these cameras fare under green screen usage. Thanks for watching.